Rabbitohs Radio Podcast, the number one source for everything South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Welcome to another edition of Rabbitohs Radio. My name is Grant Chappell. I'm joined by Big Les from the Big Les Rugby League Podcast. What's doing, Les?
Nothing much, mate. Just got back from the game, lifting tin, hitting tin, as they say. It was good fun. Back here now, though, working for the man. About to talk some South Sydney Rabbitohs. Not the best, performance from us. But, look, there's a few positives you can take. I just don't think that our finals hopes are as clear as they once were. Obviously, in our draw, we've got the Sharkies, Storm, Panthers. We've got some real tough teams in there. So, yeah, look, I'm a little bit worried, I guess, going into the next few weeks, chaps.
Yeah, I think physically we just went up for the fight last night. Didn't come out with a defensive mindset. And as Coach Ben Hornby said in the press conference, a little bit disappointed with our physicality in that match. Look, the second half, on a positive note, it was only one try apiece. The boys obviously scrambled and worked hard in that second half, but the damage was done early with a couple of raids down our right edge defence. Targeting that gap between Michael Cheekham, who's not normally out in the centres, he's more of an edge back rower, and Cody Walker, who looked to be carrying a bit of a hip flexor injury and then later on succumbed to a calf injury with 10 to go. And also the other game plan was to kick it nice and high to AJ and Jai Gray, and that come up fruitful with a try or two there as well, trying to quicken our little mate Jai. Fogarty's kicking game was strong. He certainly turned into one of the premier little kickers in the halfback position in the NRL at the moment, Fogarty, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, since returning, he's just improved out of sight with his kicking game. I mean, we saw it last week as well for the Raiders, and then going into this week, improved out of sight with his kicking game. But I just think that his game management has gone to another level as well. Just looks he looks a lot more comfortable in the 7. It looks like he hasn't been gone for that long. The rehab team over there would have done a tremendous job on him. So, good signs. Ethan Strange as well with his running game. He was torturing us going down that left-hand side. Him and Seb Chris were building a nice little combo. Hudson Young was killing us all night, 11 tackle bus. Yeah, look, I guess it's hard when you look at the stats. You go back, you look at the stats. They were only completing at 76%. The Raiders, which, we talk about Fogarty, his game management, his kicking game, how dominant they were in that front. We were higher in the completion rate. We were higher in a lot of other factors, errors and stuff like that. It was a really good opportunity for us to get a bit of momentum going into the next few weeks. We do have some hard games going into the next few weeks. It just felt like a very winnable game. Yes, it's always going to be hard going to Canberra, going up against Sticky and his Raiders. But I just felt like it was a game where, compared to the rest of the draw that we have going into the rest of the year, it was very, very winnable.
Yeah, speaking of mate who was down the snow and he cut back and watched that game, he said it was about 5 or 6 degrees, but it felt colder than that because he'd been down the snow. It felt very similar. By the time they waited for the South fans to come around, South players to come around, like Latrell and all that were really good after the game and got back to the car and got going, the temperature dropped to 1 or 2 degrees. And 2 hours after the game finished, it started snowing. So it just became, it was a bloody cold day down there. It was pretty rare. We only missed 2 hours of snow on the field, put it that way. Overnight, it got to lows of minus 3. So, look, we're up against it. To me, it felt like that Dolphins game. Everything was in their favour. They had Elliott Whitehead playing his 200th in his last season. They had Fogarty back, second week back after a spell. They've just got some athletic backs, and Seb and Chris covered us up out wide. Rapana's always a thorn on our side. Xavier Savage was a man possessed. I'm sure Hostie's probably been last bit by Sparky out there in Little Bay. He got flogged by Savage a couple of times. Poor Hostie, first game back. I don't think he got a warm-up game in reserve grade or nothing. He got thrown straight to the Wolves, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did. And look, we've obviously been to a few captain's runs over the past 4 weeks. It didn't look like he'd been really training too much other than this week. I don't think Hostie, I might be wrong about that, but he only just got back to training. So for him to play in that game was huge. But Yeah, look, we talk about the Canberras and how good the Canberra Raiders and how good they were. I thought we had some good patches in our attack. You talked about Jai Gray. I thought that he was great in some roaming sets, just coming out of his own end, particularly when we sort of weren't getting that go forward from our wingers. You know, AJ coming out hurt us as well, just a bit of speed coming out of our own end. But I thought that Jai Gray really stood up. I thought he had a big performance. I thought that Keon through the middle was huge for us. And our good mate, Tallis Duncan, the headgear guy. Obviously, you would have seen that video blew up over the weekend, which was nice. But yeah, look, he killed it as well. I thought he was very strong, and particularly when there was a few concerns around him last week defensively, playing 80 minutes there in the back row. I thought he had a real tough effort, took some tough carries, played 80 minutes again, which he's not used to in first grade. I was really impressed with Tallis Duncan too. So we did have some positives in there, chaps, which I'm happy about. But gee, there is definitely a lot to work on if we want to start beating sides like the Sharkies, sides like Melbourne, Penrith, particularly with what Cleary just did on the weekend as well. Yeah, we've got a tough road ahead of us. We can't lose a game now. Yeah, look, as I said, very worried.
Yeah, some question marks going forward over a few players. Injury status, and we missed it at the top of the show, but I just want to send my heartfelt condolences out there to Alex Johnson with the injury. It's almost like we've lost a member of the family. Alex Johnson, he's never said a bad word about anyone. He's been the ultimate professional since he came into the team in 2014. Scored more tries than anyone for the Bunnies. He's the second best try scorer of all time as it stands right now behind Ken Irvine. And I'm just hoping that's not a real setback to him. They're saying the possible timeline is 6 to 9 month recovery. That puts him at around March, April next year, puts him right on the back burner. I'm really feeling for him at the moment. He just come off back-to-back tries. Just a real popular member of the squad. I'm hoping that that's not the last time we see the great Alex Johnson.
We obviously talked about the other day on the podcast about him not training on Tuesday. Was there any concern about a calf or anything going into this one for AJ? Anything you heard?
I thought it was just a little slight tweak of the hammy again. That's all. And then obviously, I mean, it's all related, isn't it? Your hamstring, your calf, your Achilles. They're all sort of along the same line there. And you're seeing, I suppose Sato nearly had to jump over the top of him if you had a look at that. He just went down right in front of him. Sato wasn't sure what to do there. In the slow-mo, unfortunately, you've seen the muscle just snap right off, and South have confirmed that. What an awful injury. Sits on 195 tries, 5 tries short of the 200 mark. I was hoping he was going to get at least to the 200 mark by the end of the season to give him a good shake to get the record next year. Look, geez, my heart goes out to him. I mean, South will be looking to get a few more wingers in the off-season to possibly start the season without Alex Johnson in round 1 next year by the looks of it.
Yeah, you bringing Fletcher Myers in? What's your play? Is Fletcher coming in for a debut?
Yeah, we've got to make a decision there, and I think he's he sounds like the likely customer. He's played 4 games with the Rabbitohs now, been training in the full-time squad since he got here. I think, I hate to say it, but I think he's the last man standing, isn't he? Like, besides him and Isaac Tupu-Thompson, they're the only 2 blokes I can see that are available to do it. I think Cheekham playing out in the centres, he's had a great job this year, Cheeks, but he just had a bit of a tough night at the office the other night. He was a little bit exposed out there defensively, agility-wise, just sitting out wide there, and it was a tricky kick for him to catch where he sort of turned around. He sort of lost where he was, didn't he? In that try to Rapana. So I think you're probably better off putting someone out there who does a lot of kick defensive drills, and outside backs to do them a fair bit of training. But I don't reckon Cheeks has taken part in too many kick defensive drills. So I think we're better off putting,
I think it's also speed.
We might have to bring 2 guys in, you know what I mean? Like, Cam Murray comes back into the side, obviously.
Yeah.
Is Cody Walker available as well? Like, there's a lot of question marks in the team this Tuesday.
Well, I was going to ask you next, but so what are you saying? Isaac Tupu-Thompson and Fletcher Myers come in, you reckon? Because I think that Michael Cheekham got done with his speed. I think that was the big thing for me. Seb Chris was just getting around him way too often. So you're bringing 2 in?
Yeah, I think this would probably be your backline there at the moment. Jai Gray, Gagai on the right wing. You bring in Isaac Thompson, left wing, Tom, and then you're going to have centre pairing of the debutant Myers on the left, and you're going to have to play the experienced probably Tane Milne on the right. And then what are you going to do in the halves? Like, what are you going to do in the halves? Like, if Cody's not available?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about moving Tane. I don't know how I feel about moving Tane to the other side of the field. We spoke about on the podcast just recently about defensive combinations and stuff like that. Yeah, AJ's not going to be there, but you've still got the back rower inside him. I also think that, you know, we've seen Valentine Holmes having to switch between left and right center, and what's that's done to him defensively a little bit coming into this year. And yeah, I don't know how I feel really about moving Tane to the other side of the park there, where he's defending in one spot for the entire season. I'd probably leave Tane on that left side. I'd probably bring in, Fletch, maybe just, I know that Fletch is left strong. I'd probably put Fletch on that left wing and maybe move Isaac Tuitupo Thompson to the right centre, because I think he can play centre to a quite click as well. So maybe that's the play.
Centre a fair bit last year in reserve. Did a good job, Isaac Tuitupo Thompson, even though he's come back as a winger since his injury. But I'm sure he'll be able to handle that. He's been in first for a couple of seasons on and off now, so that might be a better play, mate. Yeah, put Myers left wing with Tane.
Answering your question about Cody. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see who they bring in there. Who's really available? Because Dean's out, Lockie Ilias is out.
You got Dion Tiapa. He's the likely halfback replacement or 5'8" replacement. He might have to jump in at 7 and have Jack Whiten stay where he was. Look, our attack last night, I think, because we didn't have a lot of speed out in the edges and stuff like that, we decided to sort of punch through the front door. A lot of one-out runs most of the night. Even when we were on our line, it was just crash balls, turning people underneath. So creative-wise, it was tough for a guy like Cody Walker, who looked like he was carrying a bit of an injury, hip flexor injury. He wasn't able to get his plays on because our forwards didn't really dominate for long periods, maybe a couple of sets here and there. Canberra Raiders really were powerful in all aspects of the game. I did like Liam LeBlanc coming off the bench. Not sure where that's going to go, whether he keeps his spot there. I'd like to see some more minutes out of him. Again, 8 tackles, no misses. Come on. He certainly looks a first grader. I like what I've seen from him. Yeah, you mentioned Tallis earlier, playing back-to-back games in the back row. Look, he's only going to get better, isn't he, Tallis? Scored a nice try. He never stopped trying all night, Tallis.
Yeah, he definitely.
Headgear story, Vossi threw out there, mate. He sort of said something a bit different to us, but it sounds like he's talking to the mum and we've talked to the dad, and it was a different story, but I'm sure they're both legit.
I was waiting for a shout out, mate. I felt pretty ripped off just because quietly. I was waiting for a bit of a shout out to the podcast there on Fox Sports, but that wasn't meant to be. Yeah, I guess 2 different sources on that one. But yeah, Tallis Duncan, he's been so good for us all year when he's come into this side. No matter where he's come in, whether it be that middle role or on the edge, he's done a job. And even when he hasn't been used to a position or he hasn't been used to a role, by week 2 or 3 of being in that position, he just molds into it so well. So, credit to Tallis Duncan. Definitely a genuine first grader now. I can't see him coming out of this 17 again. Really, really solid performance from him. I thought that he was one of our better players. Him, Keon through the middle. When our middles were sort of lacking there in this battle, I thought that these guys definitely stood up. And then Jai Gray with a bit of momentum, fast leg speed. And just particularly when, as I said, the wingers weren't getting a lot of meterage out of our own end, Jai Gray definitely stood up. And particularly with a smaller guy, we talked about his strength in contact. He certainly did a great job. Jackie Boy Whiten too, I thought was good. I thought that he had some decent moments. It just wasn't really working for him in that first half. Second half, the bombs started to work a little bit more, but I mean, credit to KO Weeks as well. KO Weeks gobbled every single one of those up. So,
Jeez, he put some tough bombs up, didn't he? Check a couple of ones he hit. Really sweet. And also our bloke, Joy Gray, there was a dipping bomb from Fogarty, that he had to really come forward and almost catch it off his shoelaces there. I thought he had a big second half drive. He would have had 5 tackle breaks, 250 metres, the little fella. He looks threatening every time he gets the ball. He's able to actually show a little bit of passing game on a couple of occasions as well.
What's your thoughts on him moving into the halves?
Yeah, well, I guess I suppose you could probably put someone like a Jack White back to fullback who's played there in his career, or do you leave an experienced guy up the front with him? Because I don't think you want to have Dion Tiapa and young Jai Gray in the halves, you know?
Well, yeah, I'd probably go White and Jai Gray in the halves. But who goes to fullback is the question, actually. That's a good one.
Well, that's the thing. We don't have anyone knocking on the door fullback, unless they want to give Bailey Bentley Harper an opportunity. The reserve grade player who's really come on this year. Very consistent, very good mover, a little bit taller, can get off the ground and catch a high bomb. He certainly knows how to draw and pass and set his men up on the outside. But how many debutants do you want to bring in? You know what I mean? Do we want to change the lineup too much? I'm sure Jai Gray can certainly handle it in the halves.
Yeah, totally. Look, Dion makes the most sense. Just trying to sort of think of what the plan is. Look, we could be totally wrong. We could wake up tomorrow or go look at our phones at 4:00 tomorrow night and see that Cody's still in the lineup and he's good to go. But he didn't look good. He didn't look good by the end of that game. So be interesting to see what happens. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if they just give him the week off anyway, Cody. I mean, it's going to be a tough draw regardless for us going into the rest of the year.
It's a good turnout, sort of thing, Sunday to Saturday as well. A veteran like Cody, I know what he's like. He won't want to have the week off. He'll play injured like he did in round one. A calf injury, 10 days later turns up and plays in another part of the world. Look, they did send out an injury report this afternoon, South, update us on Alex Johnson and a few of the other guys, and Cody Walker wasn't mentioned on the injury report, so I'm presuming the scans have come back clear. I don't know. He sort of went up the tunnel at halftime early with a hip flexor injury after that try that he scored off a little wrap from Jack Whitehead. And late, with 11 minutes to go, he came from the field, succumbed to a calf injury, but there was no injury designation today, so I'm not sure whether he didn't get the scans or he got the scans and they're clear.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the casualty ward now. I was just trying to see if when Tyrone Munro was coming back, and he's not coming back for a while too. It's around 25, it says here. I don't know if you've got different mail, but yeah, that would have been a nice little one to get back this week.
Yeah, he would have been handy. Even Dean Hawkins, he's been doing some contact the last week. I think the first time we've seen him do it. He's been doing some tests on the sideline on his quadricep injury. I mean, is he someone you could rush in to come in and plug a hole in the halves, or is it just too much for Dino coming back from a pretty significant quad injury?
I think it's a bit much, especially with where we are.
I haven't seen him kick at all.
Yeah, it says on the casualty ward that he's not expected back till round 23, so I'd probably just give him that week off. Dion makes the most sense to me. Who's partnering Dion at the moment in the halves? It's Hawkins' brother, isn't it?
Yeah, Brent Hawkins is. I think he's playing with the Jersey Flag most of the season. He's playing a couple of games in New South Wales Cup to fill in. But I think on the weekend by a touchdown, so 56-16.
Yeah, okay. I was going to ask how old he was. How old is Brent Hawkins?
I think he might have qualified for SG Ball this year. I think he would have played SG Ball. And
okay, right.
Might have been the year before. I think he started the season with Jersey Flag, so he's done a pretty good job down there, and he's obviously done a good enough job to be able to fill in reserve grade for his brother. So, look, I don't know whether that's something they're looking at. He's only been back from injury for a couple of weeks. But again, it's one of those years. We've just had a horrific run of injuries. We've had 2 or 3 guys that haven't played 1 minute in any trial or anything. They're out for the season. It's just been an awful year for injuries and stuff like that. Looks like they're moving on. Some high performance guys from our team this year. It looks like they're bringing in Trent Elkin from Parramatta, who Wayne's looking to sign him up for next year. He might make a difference, I'm sure. Just a fresh voice in the building, and they'll be moving on the guy we've got now.
Yeah, I was just having a look at the stats going into this game, just a few stats that they've rolled up for the Sharks game. Cody is 2 tries off 100 tries. Maybe we'll come back.
He's had a sneaky, great try scoring career, Cody.
Yeah, 100 tries there for Cody. Maybe he comes in and goes, "Give me the ball. I'm scoring 2 before I go off with my calf."
Yeah, who knows, mate? I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Yeah, poor old Hosty. He was short of a gallop, I think. It was a bit of a tough night out for him. He'll be better for the run. Captain Cam Murray coming back is going to be a big boost. He's been down there at training the last week or two. Look, it's not going to be an easy one. We had the competition drawn today. There was a winner. He's going to come down from the bush and go down to the Rabbitohs versus Cronulla game at Quest Apartments, Wollabare. $560 prize, a couple of tickets courtesy of Aaron Raper, former Cronulla Sharks player. He's got a couple of tickets for us. There'll be a bit of derelict chocolate in the rooms, and what a great prize that one it will be. Hopefully they can put on a better performance as a team and maybe knock off the Sharks, who haven't been going that great at the moment.
Yeah. Look, it is going to be very interesting to see how this one goes, because you just don't know where the Sharkies at the moment. They're starting to get on a bit of form, but maybe they do slump a little bit. They do get Will Kennedy back, which is going to be huge for them. So basically, other than Nico Hines, looking to be full strength going up against us. A few injuries for us, which isn't ideal, but look, it depends on who the better team is on the day and how both teams come into the game. Hopefully, Dion slots right in, does a good job, which I'm sure he will. We've got such hard workers in this side. If we just grind out a win like this, it would be so good for the South fans as well, just to give a little glimmer of hope going into finals. But look, we'll have to wait and see. The record at PointsBet doesn't really help us either. But look, hoping for a bit of a miracle win there.
Yeah, we said New South Wales Cup. They were beaten yesterday, and the Flag had the week off. The girls were beaten 18-14 on Saturday out there at Parramatta, 3 tries each. We just weren't able to convert the goals. It was very windy in Sydney over the weekend, as you know. And I was lucky enough to get a call up from the NRL, mate. Called the match there with Nick. It was Sharks versus Silk Tails at Penson Park. It didn't look like a good day out there, the footy food festival, but I called it from a studio, so great opportunity. Gee, there were some good players in that Sharks outfit. There's a kid, Felix Fatatili. He had about 20 tackle breaks in the game. They could not tackle him. He had offloads. Every time he ran the ball, the Sharks scored a try. Next play, he scored a try himself late in the game. Pollard, the halfback's a good player. Gabriel, the centre. The Fijians were just outclassed. They had a bit of a tough day out, the Fijians, but it's been a big learning curve for them this year. They've lost all 19 games they've played. They'll be better for the run next year. They're all 18 years of age. Playing in the toughest 21s competition in the world.
Yeah, wow. Credit to them. I've seen a few exhibition games that they've had with a few of the sides this year, which has been really cool to see. And then obviously getting together in the huddle and singing the team song, which is always, so fun and great to watch. But look, congratulations to you, chaps. It was awesome to see a few clips of you commentating on the weekend. Hopefully a few more of those to come for you.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity, and it was an absolute classic Falcon in the game. Gabriel flicked back, come back on the inside, and my headphones probably just died there. You can hear that, viewers. Apologies for that. I'll get a bit closer to the screen. You'll see me ugly mug, but Gabriel went down the sideline. He had 3 or 4 people coming across in cover, and he flipped the ball back on the inside. And he hit the 5'8" Vunny bowler in the head, and it was just a classic Falcon, straight in the sky. And then Max McCarthy, the back rower, picked it up and dragged it bloke over and scored. But it was a fun game to call. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it looked like a great game of football. It looked like a really good one.
Yeah, we might get a few more opportunities, mate. You got anything else there, mate?
No, nothing else. Just shout out to the Cast Patrol boys. I saw Mick at the captain's run the other day. He was handing out some chocolates to some of the younger boys, which was great to see. Some festivals there. May or may not have taken a few of those myself, but just shout out to those boys. They're doing some great work over there in their podcast. And by the way, boys, the shirt's getting a bit tight. You might have to send another one out for me.
They don't call him Big Les for nothing. The boys from the Cast Patrol, they're great guys, and they just put out great content. And that dog, mate, I think did he pick a perfect round, the dog, on the weekend? He was pretty, going into Sunday, he'd already picked the first 5 winners.
Yeah, well, there you go. I think he picked the perfect one the previous week, but yeah, look, I'll have to double check if he picked the perfect one again. I'll tell you what, they're doing some great work over there with Gnocchi. She's a very smart dog. I might have to get a consult from her, just get a few tips off her going into this week, because my tipping record's been a bit 50-50 at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not putting my tips into I speak to Gnocchi, mate. I think I was 5 from 8 on the weekend, but I picked South, so I was always going to lose that one, wasn't I? But anyway, we'll see what happens this week. There's a game over in Perth this week, Friday night, the Roosters versus the Dolphins. That'll be interesting to see. I'm hearing it's close to a sellout. A bloke who's given me all the opportunities to call those games. He's going to call on the sideline for the ABC nationally. James Sullivan, two of his young blokes are in our pathway systems. Toby Sullivan playing Jersey Flegg this week, big front rower. So good luck to them out over there in Perth. I'm sure should be a great game, but it'll be all eyes on the mighty Rabbitohs website tomorrow at 4 o'clock to see Team List Tuesday. Big Les.
100%. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, that might be it for another edition of Rabbitohs Radio Podcast. Up, mighty Rabbitohs.
Up the bunnies.